right, good day to you. My name is Fred Oakman, and as always, with me today is Mr. Jake Peters. We are PS. This is Awesome, a PlayStation podcast. This is episode 311. This is a show where we share our feelings about the current state of PlayStation. Before we get on with the show, I want to invite you all to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, youtube.com/PS. This is awesome. And if you want to make fun of our trophy lists on the PlayStation Network, you can find me at anchorless_81 and Mr. Jakesaw at Mr. Jake Peters. Nah, I did it backwards. All right. Jake is Jakesaw01. As always, you can write the show. You know, real quick, before we get into this, I almost have the shit memorized, but I do read it. So when I try to go off the beaten path, I get it all fucked up. As always, you can write the show at psthisisawesome@gmail.com. Most importantly, don't forget to share the show with your friend. Be sure to leave comments, rate podcast as you see fit. As a reminder, we're a video podcast as well. You can watch the show over on our YouTube channel. So make sure to subscribe to that. If you are new to the show or you're a long-time listener, we have a Patreon. You can support the show at a $1 level. The Patreon tier is called the One and Only $1 Club. Head over to www.patreon.com/PSThisisAwesome, and you can become a $1 a month patron and get a free die-cut vinyl sticker for the show sent to you in the mail, and we'll give you a shout-out. With that out of the way, Jake, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. I'm tired for some reason. I'm not really sure why. I mean, I guess I didn't sleep great last night, but I don't know. I've just been running all day. I mean, basically up until we did the podcast, I got up, then had to work on Sarah's car because it wouldn't start, and then had practice, and then I came home and immediately started doing insulation work on my house, and then we started the podcast. So I've just been kind of running a lot, and my knees hurt.
Yeah.
I'm getting old.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude, for sure. It's weird how you would think like the older you get and you're not in school anymore. You have all this fucking free time. Dude, it gets worse. Like there's like zero time most of the time, right? It's just like you're just grasping to make time to do the things you still love. So, man, I just think that's crazy. Yeah, I hate running like that, especially on the weekends. In fact, I have tomorrow off because of the MLK holiday, and I'm excited about this. But it's crazy because I started thinking today, and by no means am I a lazy person, and nor are you, Jake. So, you know, fuck it. If I have to work 5 days a week until I retire, that's fine. But I would rather cram more hours in Monday through Thursday and get every Friday off, or Thursday, Friday, and get Monday, and get a 3-day weekend because of this. During the week, it's super tough to like find energy after a long day of work to do things that you love to do, right? So like by like Friday, you've worked a full week, you're just fucking tired. So with me, usually I'm playing a concert, or maybe I'm doing, I don't know, trying to do something fun, but I usually don't have the energy to stay up past like 10 o'clock. You know, and then Saturday comes around, and then you just have this laundry list of shit you need to get done you didn't get to do during the week because you were so tired from working. At least that's how my life is. So then you're just running the rat race, trying to get all this shit done. And then if you're me again, Saturday nights, maybe you're playing a concert. I've been playing a lot of concerts lately, but this has normally been my weekends. And then Sunday, you know, don't forget you got dishes and laundry and house cleaning and all this other stuff thrown in. And dude, like by the time, I don't know, Just by the time that like Sunday night rolls around, you're just like, I didn't have a moment to do like half of the shit I wanted to do. You know, it's just repeat and recycle. I think a 4-day work week would be awesome. I wonder what countries implement that. And it's not because I don't like to work. It's like I'll work all the fucking hours you need me to work, but like I also want to have some energy for my personal life. You know what I mean? And it's a tough balance to find sometimes.
Well, they do say that you really should have like a 3-day weekend is optimal because it's like 1 day for personal affairs, 1 day for family, 1 day for rest or whatever. But I mean, I know that's very probably antiquated at this point, but I do think that the way that our society works now, it's just you just get wrung dry,
Yeah.
kind of. And there are a lot of places that are starting to go to 4-day work weeks, like literally 32-hour work weeks, not 40-hour work weeks, but paying the same amount.
Wow.
Like there are some big businesses that are doing that. But because I think that there's some studies showing that they're actually getting almost the same amount of productivity out of their employees as they did whenever they worked 5-day weeks, because there's less like
Drag.
slacking off and dragging and stuff like that. But even like kind of going along with what you said, I have no problem doing like 4 10s. Like I would do that every single week.
If
I could work like,
3 days off. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, I'd work 7 to 5 or whatever the fuck it is
100%.
every day, or 8 to 6 or whatever it is, if I could have Friday off or Monday off or whatever it is. Yeah. And we have a customer that I was working with recently who, like, that's their plant, that's their schedule. They work I think their first shift is like 6:30 to 4:30. They work Monday through Friday, and then the whole plant is closed 3-day weekend. Mm-hmm. And it's like, man, how fucking awesome would it be
every weekend, 3-day weekend,
just have that time back? And unfortunately, my boss he would never
right, right.
He's one of these guys that thinks that, like, you've got to work the 9 to 5, and people can't accomplish anything at home, and like all this other shit.
Yeah, sure.
Which there is a degree that I do from a personal perspective.
Yeah.
I agree with him. Like I couldn't work from home every single day. I would eventually have problems with it. But I could probably work from home 1 day a week or 2 days a week and be totally fine.
Right.
But the problem is just like, when you have a job where all of your customers work 5 days a week, it's kind of hard as a supplier to justify that day off, because a lot of times your customers need you on that 5th day or whatever. So it's just fucking annoying. But
it's just so
hopefully
it's interruptive,
one of these days,
right? Like it's just like you have to drive. I mean, I have to drive too, but it's a 6-minute drive one way and one way back at 6 minutes. So it's like 12 minutes of driving out of my life. But like, you got to throw a lunch in there where you're not getting paid. And you're just like, okay, I'm just going to fucking sit here for a half hour. You know what I mean? Or maybe I'll eat something. But like, it's like, you got me by the balls. Like, just pay me for my time there. I don't need the breaks. I don't want the lunch. Just fucking like pay me, get me in and get me out. Like, like I don't mind doing the job, but like it just turns into just a time eater, and it's nice to have a full day of uninterrupted bullshit. And like, I don't know, I think it'd be awesome to have a 3-day weekend every weekend. Cause I'm noticing now, like I'm thinking like, my God, if I had to go to work tomorrow, fuck. Like, I'm just like, I've not rested yet. I've been doing so much shit all weekend. And I'm just not ready. And thank God I don't have to, but only because of a holiday. And Jake, you do. I'm sure you have to go. I get all those sweet banker holidays and shit. But I don't know, dude. It's interesting to think about. I wanted to do... Are you having connection issues or not? Because sometimes it looks like it's a little like grainy.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I mean,
all right. It just looks a little
grainy.
grainy.
A little bit of it. I heard a little bit of a hiccup when we first started, but I haven't noticed anything recently.
All right, so I have a little show and tell real quick before we get started. And I know I've talked about this a while ago, but we're like kind of like resetting up our guest bedroom, and I had this tucked away in one of my dressers. And I wanted to show it to the audience because it's really, really fucking cool. And this is PlayStation related, so check this shit out. That there is a PS1, baby. In the box, it still has the Sony seal right there. Completely unopened, brand new. Now this is, I don't know which one this one is. Is this the thing?
That's the newest one.
This is the newer PS1.
That's the refresh. Yeah. Because the original wasn't called the PS1. It was just called the PlayStation.
But to be clear, it isn't like a it's not like an emulator or something. This is actually real deal Sony PlayStation when it came out.
That's the little one that came out after the PS2 came out.
I never owned
they had
one.
To differentiate it.
That's crazy. I never owned one. We won this. Our band played the Warped Tour, and Ernie Ball was like giving away like free stuff to like bands who like did really well, or like, fans reacted well to them or whatever. And we got this because there were 4 of us in the group. It never got open because we couldn't like correctly split it in 4, so just none of us took it. So this is now it's just in my possession. And dude, the games on the back, I'm looking like it says that they have let me see, 7 games, Crash Bash, Spyro Year of the Dragon, The Legend of Dragoon, Grind Session, NFL Game Day 2001, NHL Face-Off 2001, and NBA Shootout 2001. And of course, on the bottom, they've got all the different peripherals you can buy. Like there's like a controller, a memory card, the multi-lap, which I don't even know what that is, the mouse, AV cables. Does this shit come with it? No.
I doubt it. Maybe the. No.
No, accessories sold differently or separately. Now, for anyone who's curious, this box does have a little bit of damage right here. And, you know, it's like fucking 20-some years old. But it's in pretty good fucking shape, surprisingly. So I am actively taking bidders on this. If you guys fucking want to buy an unopened PS1, the price will have to be right, though. But you can write the show. I might accept. You never know. But good luck finding one of those anywhere. It still has
$140.
No, it's got to be more than that.
No,
in the box?
$140 on eBay.
How much?
Yeah, well, this is new with the box and all the shit. I mean, because that one's sealed, it might be worth a little bit more.
Never been used.
But that's because that's the slim version, it's probably not worth as much.
I have no use for it. I mean, like, it is kind of cool to have it, but, like, I don't know. But anyways, I thought that would be a cool show and tell thing, because I have talked about it on the podcast, but this is the proof of life situation. You know what I mean? I have to prove that I own it.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah.
New factory sealed PS1 console system, $649.
This one?
The box is different, but it's a PS1, so I don't know. Maybe it's a different region or something.
Not PlayStation 1, but PS1. Gotcha.
Yeah, which is what you have.
Yeah. I've got the SKU number on it, and it even has the serial number on it. It's cool the way they made this box. You can see this cutout right here.
Oh, here you go. Here you go. Yeah. This is exactly the one that you got.
Yeah.
There's one listed for $750.
Fuck yeah.
There's one listed for $1,000.
Yes.
There's one listed for $10,000, which no one will ever fucking pay that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell that's
about.
It
does have so this little window on the box, which is interesting. It has a little window, and it has a date next to the serial number, and it says September of 2000. So this is like 24 years old, almost a quarter of a century old, which is awesome. But it's in good care, so I gladly take $600 for it if anyone wants to pay me for it.
Yeah, there's actually a few of these listed on here for $1,000. I don't know if people are actually buying them.
Yeah, man.
But
there's probably all these other bands that somehow found one. There's got to be at least one of them that were in my situation. It was like the band couldn't agree who would get the PlayStation, so it just fucking stayed in the box. Dude, to be fair, we were so
$10,000.
What's that? 10? Yeah,
$10,000.
Maybe in another 25 years. I don't know. But, like, good luck finding a TV that can even use it. I mean, you got to use those AV cables and shit. So, I don't know. Most TVs are HDMI now. I don't even know how it would even look on an HD TV with an AV cable. I don't even know how that would work. But that was it.
Yeah, dude, I just fucking hang on to it for a while.
Would you?
Because, I mean, there's another one listed for $9,899. I would love to know who the fuck thinks these are worth that much money?
Yeah, that's a ton of money. It is awesome, though, to think that in this box there's a completely brand new, unused, certified PlayStation 1 controller and system. That's
If
kind
it
of
was actually worth $10,000, I'd break into your basement and steal it from you.
no, no, it's unacceptable. I'll hide it. I'll go put it in a fucking offshore bank or something. I'll give it to the Swiss bank.
Many more of these are
Like between $5 and
around like the $500 to $1,000 range. So I could believe it being worth $1,000. Maybe even like $2,000 if it was like mint.
Yeah, the box isn't mint, but it's definitely intact. It's not like coming apart or anything. There's just a little gash on the bottom of it, which says a lot about Sony packaging, to be honest. I mean, the fact that this is, I mean, I don't do anything with it. Like, it gets moved every once in a while to a new location, but it's a real deal.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So, for anybody, yeah, there you go. Just showed you something cool on PS. This is awesome. PlayStation Podcast. Jake, we are a PlayStation Podcast. So, that was a nice little icebreaker that I thought I would introduce to the show. But now we're going to talk about games that we're playing. Every episode, we talk about PlayStation games that we're playing. We talk about where we're at, what we're doing, what we think about them. Typically, it's the same game for a while, and then we'll start playing a new one. But so in my case, it is. You guys know I hurt my neck last week. My neck is back and feeling better. So I did jump back into Resident Evil 4 in VR2. I am on chapter 12 now, I believe, of 16 chapters. And my plan is to literally play 2 chapters tonight before I go to bed, and then 2 chapters in the morning tomorrow, and just be done with it. I will say I did the fight that you asked me about, like the hand-to-hand combat with that commando guy.
Oh, yeah.
That was fine. I beat him. I mean, I don't know. He's still alive, so spoiler alert for this really old game. He's still alive. I don't know if I have to fight him again later, but he's alive. It was cool because when he would do a jump over my head, I could literally grab the knife and put it up like this, and it would cut him. It was really slick. And the parrying was really fun. So, and I also did like this. You guys know that I'm a big fan of the Dark Pictures anthology, which will probably be my next game. But they had that Switchback Mountain, which is like a dark coaster where it's supposed to be scary. Resident Evil 4 VR has a minecart section where you're sitting in a minecart, and I don't know if this is in the original game or not, but it was fucking awesome. And dude, so good in VR. Super, super fun. So I've pushed along on that a little bit more. And then I did hop back into the finals briefly, and I got this really weird drop. Every time you play the finals, they give you some experience points and some other things. What I didn't realize is you're up for a runner for like drops. I don't think I ever got any drops, but I got this rare drop. They have 2 different kinds of currency in the game. One is experience based, and the other one you actually have to purchase with money, and that's for like all of the skins and all the other stuff, because it is a free to play game. None of that stuff makes you any better, but I got a 75, not $75, but a 75 whatever. I don't know what that is equivalent to in real money drop, which was like, it was like ultra, what's the word? Epic or something. And it popped up, and I was like, wow, I never thought I'd have those coins available to like buy like things. Now, I don't know if everyone just gets one. They're trying to encourage you to like fucking use that system. It'd be a really nice way to like, because it's not enough you have to buy anything in that store. So it's like, here, it's essentially like a coupon. It's just like, well, now you can spend like, $5 to get something instead of 10. You know what I mean? And it's like, it seemed a little shady, but yeah, I'm not going to buy anything. I want to support the game though. It's a really good fucking game. The finals is really good. Back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And then lastly, Final Fantasy XVI. I'm still trudging away in this. Jake, it's hard to talk I'm not going to spoil this game. It's hard to talk about this game and explain to you where I'm at. I'm like 24, 25 hours in. I'll just say I just got into this desert area. That probably will tell you where I'm at. Does that ring with you? You know where that is? So there was like a boss battle, and then like a new area opened up, and I'm in the desert.
Yeah, I know Dalmekia or whatever the fuck it's called.
Sure.
So
It's good.
I get you.
I'm still enjoying it. Now I have like 4 superpowers or icons, maybe. I think I have 4. I think I have 4. But
Do you have the ice
I have
or no?
no. I have fire, wind, electric, and earth.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
I don't have ice yet. I feel like I should though, because I think I got ice powers. Like there was a cinematic where it seemed like I was able to get ice powers, but they're not available to me. It was really weird. So maybe I don't know. Maybe they were teasing something. It was like in a battle, like the ice person, I don't know, was like finish him or something. She's like finish him off, and I felt like I got like a power from her, but I can't use it in the game. But my companion friend has a power, so if you know what that means. Code word Charlie has a power now. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right. All right. That's all I'm playing. Jake, how about you? Last we talked, you were playing Prodeus.
So I beat Prodeus.
Nice. Congrats.
And I was going back through and kind of cleaning up some of the levels. I was actually thinking about maybe platinuming this game. I don't think it would be very difficult, but it would be pretty time consuming.
Okay.
Because you have to, what they call 100%, I believe, every level, which I think in order to 100% a level, you have to beat it. There's some fucking fire trucks going
I hear
by.
that. It sounded like a cat in heat in my end.
What?
You know, like a cat when they're in heat, they make those weird noises.
I don't know that they sound like a fire truck.
Well, on my end, like my mic was only picking up certain frequencies, and it sounded like a cat making the noise.
Anyway, so in order to like 100% a level, it's not very clear in the trophy descriptions what they mean by certain things, but one of them is like 100% every level, and it's like you have to beat the whole level without dying, find all the secrets, and kill 100% of the enemies.
Ooh.
And there's like, I don't know, fucking 20 levels. So it's, and I don't have this completed, I think, in any of them but like 2 of them. So it's just, it wouldn't be hard to do because I could put it on super easy mode so I didn't die very easy, and then, you know, the rest of it is just cleaning up, mopping up enemies and secrets and stuff, which is cool. And the game is really fun to play, so I may just kind of chip away at it over time. But for now, I'm kind of moving on just because I don't know. I don't know that I have the gumption to do this. Like, if it was something that would take maybe a couple of hours, I would do it. But I think this is going to be like a fucking 10-hour campaign to 100% all these levels. Right. So I just don't know if it's worth it for me just right now. I also beat Village in VR.
Oh, shit.
So that was cool. The ending of that game is super weird.
I don't even know if I remember it.
But I think that there is, I don't even really necessarily want to mention kind of what it is because I don't want to spoil anything. But there is this section of the game that is kind of like, well, there's 2 sections I was thinking of at the end that are really weird. There's this one like vehicle section. I don't know if you remember this. Where you're like driving this fucking tank thing.
I don't remember that. Oh yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, which is actually kind of cool. And then
so fucking bizarre. I do remember that.
But it's weird. And then there's the section right after that where you're there must have been a wreck or something because there's just fucking fire trucks going by. But yeah, that or someone's burning their house down with a freaking space heater.
It's got to be one of the
There's this other section right after that, right before the end, where you get like you get like an assault rifle and shit, and you're just like mowing dudes down. Like that part is really cool in VR.
Wait, do you come back and do you play another character at the end of this game?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the part I'm thinking of, and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's cool because it's definitely like this power fantasy thing where you just like the guns are super powerful and you just have tons of ammo and you're just like mowing dudes down.
Give me that all
It's
the time.
fucking cool.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be great. Like it wouldn't serve the game to have you be like that the whole time. But for that brief little section there, it's really neat. But I will say, dude, it might it's pretty fucking close to my favorite Resident Evil game. I'm not gonna lie. It's so good.
Village.
I love the atmosphere. I love how much it calls back. The gameplay calls back to Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
I still think Resident Evil 4 is probably technically slightly a better game.
You have to play it in VR.
But dude, Village, I love everything about the aesthetic. I love all of the bad guys. I love how everything is just, they all have their own little different shtick. I actually love what the story ends up being about, because it ends up almost being about like the origin of Umbrella, which is, I didn't mean, that might be a spoiler for some people, but like it's pretty fucking cool. And I don't know, man. Like I said, my biggest beef about the game is just the two middle bad guys, we'll say, in the dollhouse lady and the fish guy. Like their sections are just kind of short.
Yeah.
But man, dude, that fucking factory section at the end is awesome. Mm-hmm. It's so cool. Like everything about it, it's just so big and open, and like
I gotta play this in VR, dude.
Dude, the enemies you fight are so fucking cool. They're like these weird machinations of man and machine. Like it's fucking awesome. Like I think, I know everyone kind of like raves about the dollhouse section of the game.
Yeah, about it being scary.
But I honestly think my favorite part is probably the factory section, followed probably by the castle section, just because I love the villains in that section, and I love just like I don't know, there's just there's something, it's like it's got the Resident Evil 1 mansion vibe down. Like it's very classic feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I finished that. I was really bummed. So I was like, oh man, they have the Shadow of Rose DLC. I was like, maybe I'll jump into that because I'm really interested in that closure to the story.
Yeah.
But then I found out you can only play it in third person. You can't play it in VR.
Oh, really?
You can't play it in first person. So I was like, I still want to play it because I want to see what the story is about. But like I wasn't like if it had been VR ready, I would have just jumped straight into that. Just to kind of finish everything
because
off.
the DLC for 7 is VR compatible. That's interesting. So
yeah, like the DLC for Village is the Rose expansion,
right? And I played it,
and the like Horde mode version of the game that they have. And even the Horde mode thing is not VR capable.
That's interesting.
Which is fucking stupid to me because I was like, man, that would be the best place to have VR. Because the funnest part about the VR is the combat. Like I said last week, you feel like the man when you master like the reloading and all the weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
It would be so awesome to do the Horde mode in VR.
Yeah.
But like for whatever reason, they don't support it. I mean, it's great that they have the main campaign. I love it. The whole thing's playable front to back. But I think they really missed out by not making the DLC VR have it with VR support.
Yeah.
So I beat those. I was kind of him-hawing about what I wanted to do next. So I was playing some Beat Saber just to like, kind of something to do. Sarah and I were playing that together yesterday. And dude, they're like, I played one of the songs. I think it was like the Dragon Force song or something like that. And I just like put it on like no failure mode. And then uh, put it on expert
Mm-hmm.
just for fun. I honestly don't know how it's even possible somebody can play it. Like I literally don't feel like it's possible.
Dude, YouTube it. I
But
guarantee someone does it.
I'm sure somebody can do it. But you would have to literally just be good at like flicking your wrists and stuff. Like you can't be waving your arms. They're throwing the shit at you so fast. Anyway, Beat Saber's fun.
Yeah.
But
I gotta try that sometime.
the other thing, so I was trying to figure out what I wanted to play next because I finished Village up on I think Thursday. So I was just kind of playing Prodeus and I beat that and then it's like, what do I want to do? So I decided this would be a good time for me to download Death Stranding, the director's cut.
Oh shit.
So I downloaded that because I played it. I borrowed it from my brother. I played it for a bit, a couple hours in, and then I just kind of went and played something else. I fell off on it, whatever. Something else came out. I don't remember. But that director's cut that they made for PS5 or whatever is on PS Plus Extra.
Yeah, right. It is.
So I just downloaded. I was like, I'm gonna try this back out, and man, that game is so fucking weird. I'm not even. I'm maybe an hour into it, so I'm still like going through all the cinematic shit. But like, Sarah sat down for a couple minutes, like before we're getting ready for practice or whatever, and this morning, and I was just trying to explain to her about like, there's like these like invisible things, and then like the rain makes you grow old, and then like somehow for some reason you like strap yourself to a baby and it makes you strong. I was like, I don't fucking know what's going on here. It's been a long time and I only played the first couple hours. I assume maybe they explained some of this shit.
Yeah, they do.
But like
that game is so fucking good. Dude,
that's what I hear.
It's unbelievable how good it is. And I don't know why.
But anyway, so I just started it. So I think I'm going to play that for a while until, assuming I don't get bored with it. I think if I can, from what I understand is that if I can tough it out through the first couple hours, and to the point where you start getting like vehicles and shit like that, it makes the game a lot more pleasant to play.
It's so fucking fun.
Because I'll be honest with you, I really don't like the walking mechanic in this game.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy. I'm okay with the package delivery service thing, but I don't want to have to fucking keep my balance. That's annoying.
Yeah.
Like, I want to just walk. Like, if it was a walking simulator, I'd be totally fine with it. Just let me walk around, explore, look at this beautiful landscape, all this shit. But I don't want to be like, oh, with the fucking triggers and, I fell down. All my packages flew all over the place. Now I got to go fucking pick them all up. Oh, this one's damaged. So, like, I'm not going to get paid for it. And, like, I don't know. Like, that part of it is just like,
dude,
I don't want to fuck with that.
See, that part, to me, got better the further I got into the game. I felt how you feel now when I started it. That they start giving you tools. They start giving you, like, trucks that you can load your fucking boxes in. And then they start giving you, like, these little, like, motorcycle things that you can put boxes on the back. And, like, yeah, you still will run into areas where you have to offload that shit and still navigate mountains on foot. But, like, at least you can get through the brunt of the transportation. But then they give you, like, these fucking, like... This isn't even a spoiler. They just give you the tools, like mountain climbing tools, right? You get these fucking things that help you go down the sides of mountains, but the rope can only be so long. And then you got to like make sure like it's fun, dude. And then like it gets really intense when a storm's coming and you're just like, fuck, man, I gotta fucking get out of here. But then you're like,
yeah.
But then there's like also like, man, I don't want to. I'm concerned that you're not gonna stick with it. But there are things that are going to make it easier for you. You just got to shoulder down through the first.
Dude, honestly, like the story alone makes me want to tough it out.
Yeah.
Because I'm just really curious about like what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, right.
Like why does
so good.
Like when somebody dies, why is there this big fucking crater that happens and like all this weird shit and like so I am definitely super curious about the game, and I'm gonna stick with it for a while and see how I can get through it.
Yeah, good.
Because
I recommend it.
I've heard what you're saying, that you just got to get through the first couple hours, and you start getting tools and all this shit that makes the FedEx simulator part of it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But the game is just so unique and interesting that I just feel like I gotta experience it. Plus, the trailer for the second game looked so fucking dope.
Yeah.
That like I want to see it through. I just hope I can last through the, I think the game's like 30 hours or something like that. So I just hope I can get through it. But I'm really excited to get back to it, if I'm being honest with you. It just, the atmosphere is so good, and the graphics are so good, and the fucking, I don't know. I just, so that's where I'm at.
Dude, it's so...
But I will say, my one last note, not on Death Stranding, but dude, PlayStation, they have to get their shit together with their fucking network. I downloaded this game. It literally took me... I've got 300 meg down internet, which is not slow. And it took me fucking 12 or 15 hours to download this game.
Wow, that's a long time.
And, dude, same internet connection. I had another game. I didn't talk about it on the show because I didn't play it very much. Last week, there was a game on Steam that I wanted to try. They had a demo available for it. And it was like 5 gigs or something like that. It literally, I'm not fucking with you, on Steam, took me 6 minutes to download. And it was 5 gigs. I was getting like a gig a minute download speeds in Steam. But on my PlayStation, it takes fucking like 15 hours to download a 40, 50 gig game. Like that's, and it's all the network, man. I mean, I'm sure maybe if I like, and my PlayStation's hardwired too. So I don't know, what the deal is with that, but it's frustrating. Anyway, continue.
No, I've got nothing. Back to Resident Evil VR. I know that, and then we'll get into the news. We'll listen to feedback in the news, but you were like having trouble finding your VR legs at first, and now do you feel like you have them?
Yeah.
Now let me pose this to you. Imagine now, like a Doom VFR game with this control, like having the controls like this.
Dude, I was looking at my shelf of like all of the, I have very few physical games and movies and stuff.
Yeah.
But I have a shelf in my living room that has everything that I do have on it. And when I was looking for something for Sarah and I to do, I was looking at it and I saw Doom VFR on there. And I was like, fuck, man, they should make a PSVR 2 port of this. But they won't because they're owned by Xbox now.
Well,
so they won't do that.
And part of that mechanic was like warping through enemies, right? Like they utilized the deficiencies of the controller to turn it into a game mechanic, which was interesting. But like, dude, a proper first person shooter, because it is so fun to play those. I feel like I could do a fast paced action game with VR2 without much problem. I feel like it would be a really good time.
I think that there would be a little bit of they would have to slow it down, like, because I don't think people realize how fucking fast Doom is.
Well, yeah, Doom is like the fastest
compared to like other first-person shooters. Like that, I think you might struggle with. But if you're talking about something like Call of Duty or Halo or fucking Resistance,
could you imagine
or something
like a
that,
Metro,
a Resistance VR,
a Metro with the fucking gas mask and wiping it?
Yeah, that'd be cool as shit. Metro, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, a Metro VR game would be dope because it's kind of survival.
Yeah, you'd have horror, survival, and a great fucking story.
I mean, it would probably play better too because the shooting controls like shit in that game.
Dude, if they fucking made Metro in VR, I'd lose my fucking mind. Yeah,
because that game is spooky, and it's not like, it's more thrillery. It's not like it's not jump
scare shit. Yeah,
which is awesome.
It's just kind of like, we're going to turn the lights out. And then you got
And they need to, they have no incentive to do this. I get it. But man, I wish Sony would just pony up, throw whatever fucking cash they need to at Valve to get Half-Life Alyx. Because
it would sell units.
It's so like, I mean, I haven't heard anything. Like, I haven't played it obviously because I don't have a PC VR, but people have said that like it's literally the most AAA VR experience from a first person perspective.
Yeah, dude. So, I don't know though. Compared to Resident Evil, like fuck, man. Like, I mean, I haven't played Alyx either, but I mean, I don't know shit. Like, Resident Evil is the only other game that is full on AAA that I can think of in VR, and it's fucking nuts. It's like, this is what we could have. We could have these nice things if people, I don't know, man, just a little more support. Like, god damn, it's good. It's so fucking good. Resident Evil 4 VR is so fucking unbelievably good. Like,
yeah, Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil Village. I mean, I would say even 7.
Oh, 7 was fantastic. 4 is so much better in VR now.
Yeah, I was kind of meh on the VR for 7. I only played it for a little bit, but Village was fucking dope.
Yeah.
So,
dude.
Yeah, I definitely think that's that's
the
something
goal
that Sony needs to look at a little bit more. They need more games like that. I was on the fence. I was thinking about buying Synapse, and then I was like, okay, well, I've heard a lot about like this Arizona Sunshine 2 came out. And I was like, oh, I'll look at that. But then I saw like Saints and Sinners, and I was like, oh, because they're both kind of zombie shooter games. And then I'm like trying to look up these comparisons because there's no demos for these games. And they're like $50, $60. So I was like, I don't buy a lot of games, especially VR games, because if it's in VR, it's got to be good or I won't play it.
Right, exactly.
Like,
it's got to be good.
I'm not going to struggle through like I would with like maybe with like a couch game. But like with VR, it's got to be good or I'm not going to play it. And a lot of what I'm reading is people are saying Saints and Sinners is the way to go.
Over Arizona Sunshine 2?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And like not the new Saints and Sinners, the original one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they did port that to VR too, so it is available. But I don't know. I mean, it's like, $40 or $50. Is it that big of a deal? Not really. But I might wait until I have some like PSN cash or something like that to do that.
Well,
so,
I got a VR game we're going to talk about later in the news section that just came out that maybe might tickle that funny bone of yours. But the one last thing about Resident Evil that they do so well, and then we got to get on with the show. But you find yourself in really, like, they change the settings and environment so often in these games. They just like if you're like, 7 hours into a Resident Evil game and you stop, you're like, how the fuck did I end up here? Like, like I'm playing 4, which starts in this old village, and then like out of nowhere, I'm in a fucking medieval castle, and I'm just like, how the fuck did I end up here? Like, somehow they sold it to me that it made sense that this is where I'm at. Like, and then all of a sudden you're like in some fucking underground mine with mine carts riding them like a roller coaster. And it just all makes sense somehow. Like they sell you the illusion of setting, like, and I think Village did that really well too. It's just like you said, you start off, you're like in the fucking castle, and then you end up in a house with all these dolls, but like by the end you're in a fucking foundry with machine animals and stuff, and it's just like you're driving a fucking tank, and you're just like, what the fuck? But it makes sense when you're playing the game. You're like, oh yeah, I get it. But like every Resident Evil game, they go from like, it's almost like they have like these cool ideas for settings, and then like some director or somebody is like, we got to find a way to bridge this and make it make sense to the player. And like sometimes it's as simple as just opening a big fucking gate and there's a huge castle, and it's like, all right, yeah, I buy it. You know what I mean? Or like you take an elevator and all of a sudden you're like in some sort of weird cavernous area, but it's its own world, and it's like completely. So they jump settings so much, and I think that's what makes the pacing of the games feel so good. Is it like you're in these new places for like a short amount of time, but not so short that like you miss them when you leave. It's just like, oh wow, that was really cool. It's a bunch of experiences, and I think that's why the game serves VR so well. I don't know, man. It's fucking rad. I'm glad it exists.
Yeah, man.
All right. Anyways, dude, let's move on to listener feedback. There is none, actually. So I just want to say, like, I've been posting these YouTube shorts for our show. Jake, like, I posted 2 where you were talking about the Pulse headset and another one you were talking about something else. And between those 2 shorts, we had like 4,500 views, which is crazy because normally we don't get that kind of response. And I posted the Warhammer thing not long prior to that, and there was some thousands of views. So our subscriber count is slowly ticking back up. So if you are a subscriber on YouTube, we thank you. And if you want to communicate with us, you can leave comments on any of our videos, and we'll talk about them on our show. And we do prefer that you join our Patreon for $1 a month and leave us comments there. But if you don't, it's fine. You know, we're just happy that you're here listening to our podcast and you're enjoying the conversation with us. And the other thing is, if you've been a longtime subscriber and we're posting these shorts, if they're like just funneling into your feed, I apologize, but like we got to do this to get our name out. So we're going to keep posting shorts. It seems to be the only way. YouTube sends me emails every week. Like, you really should post a short. You know, this is how you build your audience. And it's like,
yeah,
it's true, but like it seems so fucking lame, but we got to do it that way. And Jake and I have plenty of content to pull from, so we'll be posting shorts probably daily, hoping to build that traction for 2024. But getting into the news, every episode we talk about news that has hit the PlayStation world. We don't break news; we merely just have conversations about it. We inject our own opinions and I don't know, thoughts on these on these news points. I don't say contacts. I don't know why I said that. On the content that we're going to cover. I think that's what I was going for. But the first news point, and most of these news points, in fact, all of these come way of a website called pushsquare.com. So if you want to look deeper into these articles and look at their comments, you can do that over there. But we're going to talk about these news points. And the first one I think is really interesting and exciting for me. And the new Prince of Persia game, The Lost Crown, came out. It's getting really good reviews. It's a Metroidvania, for those who don't know. The art style is kind of nice. It looks a little old at times, like dated. But watching this, I'm a big fan of Strider, the video game. I'm getting huge, absolutely enormous Strider vibes watching the gameplay with I almost keep saying Aladdin, but I mean fucking whoever the Prince of Persia is, whoever that guy is. It reminds me of the Sega Genesis game Aladdin a little bit, the way he's like throwing his sword out, you know, and hitting people.
Yeah.
And it also looks a lot like Strider. And if the gameplay is as good as what everybody's saying, this may be one that I end up giving a shot. If you're interested in Strider, you don't know what it is, there's a really nice Strider remake. Strider's an old franchise, but it got a nice remake, I think on PS3 or PS4 rather. It might have been a PS3 game that you played on PS4.
I think it was really close. It was like PS4, but it was like at launch.
Did you ever play that game?
Yeah, we got it on PS Plus. I played it for a bit.
It's so good. I got some videos of me playing Strider on there, but this game actually has a demo. The Lost Crown, the Prince of Persia game, has a demo out, so I'm thinking about downloading it and giving it a try. And if I like it, I might buy this game. Push Square, I think, gave this game an 8 out of 10 or something crazy like that. So
nice.
People are really talking about this game. Jake, do you have any interest in this game?
I mean, like if it's a platformer and it's fun, I'm sure I'll have interest in it.
Yeah.
I didn't have interest in it, I mean, honestly, initially, but just because I assumed it was just kind of mid. But if it's really good, I mean, I might consider playing it if I have some free time, but I don't know. It might be a while before I get to it.
Open Critic, Prince of Persia has an 87 critic average and a 94%.
Oh, wow.
94% critic recommend. I'll go through the quick news sites real quick. IGN gave it an 8 out of 10. Eurogamer gave it a 4 out of 5. PC Gamer a 72 out of 100. Games Radar 4 out of 5, Easy Allies 9 out of 10, Game Informer 9.5 out of 10, GameSpot 9 out of 10, Destructoid 8.5 out of 10. So like, just to throw some ideas, like it's not just like one or two people are saying this game's all right. It really seems like it's going to be fucking awesome. So I got to download this demo and give it a shot. And I think our listeners should try to give it a shot too. If this is anywhere up your or in your wheelhouse, I was just really impressed with what I've been seeing about this game. So it's out now. I believe it's out now. But
nice.
You guys should check out that demo because I believe it's free on the PlayStation Network. This next topic affected me personally. I say that almost like it was like a tragedy or something. It wasn't, but it is a news story that applied to me as a PlayStation gamer. I'm not sure how many people actually utilize the PlayStation Loyalty Stars program, but a lot of people who had made purchases of games over the holiday, they had all those holiday sales, weren't actually rewarded on the PlayStation Stars program with their points for the equivalent of the points they should have got for the money they spent. So as a result, these points, when you get them, Jake, I've told you about this, you can get PSN store credit, which is fucking awesome. Right. And it adds up faster than you think. Like if you're a gamer like us, dude, you go check. Like I have enough in there, I think, for another $20 or something, which is crazy. I don't buy a lot of games, but apparently I do. I mean, I can't imagine what some of you gamers out there listening to the show, like if you guys play a lot of games, I'm sure you probably buy more games than I do, or Jake does. Like, make sure you sign up to this Stars loyalty program because their point system is nice. You can trade those points in for PSN voucher codes for store credit. Anyways, they weren't applying points to people who made purchases over the holidays. I got an email from PlayStation saying that there were points that I was not given. So
yeah, I saw that too.
Oh, really?
I got the same email. Yeah.
Interesting. So I wouldn't have known had they not emailed me. You know what I mean? I don't fucking keep track of this shit. I just expect it to work in the background. But
right.
Anyways, I guess just so you know, check your PlayStation rewards points. I'm gonna check mine real quick while I got you on the line. I have 3,427 points. I don't know what that can give me. I forget how to check how to use them. Do you know how to even use them? I've done it once.
Nah, I have no idea.
Really? Point history overview. There's a way to buy shit with your points. I just want to see. I'll tell you in 1 second. Points eligible purchase. Dude, there's a way to do it. Hold on. Give me 1 second, listeners. I'm sorry. I really want to see. Why would you ever cancel? Oh, rewards right here. Here we go. For $20, you need 5,000 points, and for $5, you need 1,250. So I have enough for at least $10, but I'm just gonna keep saving. Get that $20, dude. Get that $20 banger. So, with all the games coming out in February.
I have 5,557 points.
That's $20, dude. Cash it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it up.
Nice.
Hell yeah. Very good. All right, so next news point. And I kind of want to talk about this. I do have a minor show topic that's going to inject itself. The title of our episode today is Are There Too Many Games? But there's a show topic, or there's a news point that we'll get into a discussion. But before we do that, I want to talk about the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. This game is going to be really divisive, I believe. And the only reason I say that is it's been getting a lot of mediocre, if not negative, press and discussions online from content generators and review websites and podcasts, and it seems like nobody really knows where the needle's going to fall on this game, whether it's going to be good or not. As you guys know, when games come out and people get early builds, the company usually make those people sign an NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement, which means they're not permitted to actually talk about it. So, this game, of course, is being developed by Rocksteady. It has not yet been released, but it was supposed to be released, I think, a while ago, and they pushed it out after the reaction to the gameplay trailer that they showed, I think, at one of the conferences or something. It was a state of play, maybe. But, Rocksteady, as an attempt to quell the negative tide on this game, they've lifted the NDA from anyone who had access and played the alpha version of the game. So the studio gave like a nice closed off portion of a game to some people, and they made them sign an NDA. They've now lifted it. And I believe they've done this with hopes that people are going to start kind of like pushing back against the negative feedback that's circulating this game, or the negative opinions, and I feel like there's just like, it's so much easier to be negative than positive about shit. And this game isn't even out yet, but people are just shitting on it online. Like, this game's going to suck. Look at it. It's just this, it's that, it's this, whatever. And as a reminder, this is the last game that fellow who passed away that did the voice. Was it Batman's voice or Joker's voice?
Batman.
This is the last performance he has. And so there's a little bit of that too. So it's like, show a little bit of respect till the game comes out. I mean, this is the guy's last piece of work. Like, I don't know, but the game seems to be lining up for, like I said, a pretty divisive. I don't know. I don't know. It's going to divide a lot of us, I think, because I'm seeing negative opinions online, but then I'm also seeing some people that are like, actually, this looks right up my alley, kind of thing, So the PR statement from Rocksteady, I'll read it real quick, and then we'll talk about it. It says, back in November, we held a closed alpha test for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, where players agreed to a non-disclosure agreement and got a chance to check out an early section of the game. Now that there's more news out on the game and players are asking, we're no longer enforcing a portion of the NDA, and we're allowing players to talk about their experience from the closed alpha test. We've heard the community requests and want to give players an opportunity to discuss what it's like to explore Metropolis as Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark. To the amazing players who tested the game, please feel free to talk and write about your gameplay experience. Keep in mind that all other terms of the NDA still apply, and players may not post imagery or videos from the closed alpha test. So this is interesting. This very seldom happens in the gaming world, where an NDA gets lifted to seemingly quell negative opinions of a game. So this says two things. It says that, number one, Rocksteady feel really good about where this game's at and the alpha version that they let these people play. They feel good about the splice they gave, enough to lift the NDA, because like, it could really backfire right now, right? They could really fucking backfire. The game hasn't come out yet. So This is a gamble on their part. Jake, what do you think about this?
My guess is that they got enough of a positive reaction from the people that they let try it out, that they figured that this is worth the risk. Because if like all these people played the game and they had all this negative feedback for Rocksteady, why would Rocksteady have any incentive to let them talk about it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I have a hard time believing this game is going to be bad. It's just not what people wanted out of a Rocksteady game. Like, they didn't want fucking, Destiny, the Suicide Squad edition. They wanted a fucking, single player,
story-driven,
narrative-heavy fucking game.
They wanted an Arkham game.
But yeah, or something, that evolved from that or whatever. So like, it is curious. Well, I'm curious to see how this will play out. But I have a hard time believing it's going to be a bad game.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine mediocre at worst, excellent at best, right? Like, they believe enough in this game to lift an NDA. So I mean, can we go a little easy on the speculation until it comes out? And it's like, I kind of, dude, I feel like it's people have already chosen a side on this matter, on this game, without ever, like, no one's fucking anyone's probably really played it. Like, I feel like people have already drawn a line and chosen a side. Like, it's just like, I don't even know, like, when it comes out, if I'm going to be able to trust what I hear about it, because I feel like some people are just dug in, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, oh, it's not what they want, so they're gonna trash it. I don't know. We'll just have to see. I mean, just I'd advise everyone just
proceed with caution.
Proceed with caution.
Yeah. All right. Well, I thought it was interesting for sure. Another news point here, real quick, and dude, I forgot completely about this game, and then we'll get to our little topic for the show, and then a couple more news points afterwards. But let's not forget about a game, Jake, that was shown a while back, and I think it was shown at a PlayStation showcase, I believe. Sandland. My voice just cracked a little bit. Sorry, we had practice today, and my voice is doing weird things. Sandland, which is an adventure game with some interesting cel-shaded stylistic approach. It's going to be launching sooner than originally anticipated. This game is going to drop in April 26th. This is a new release date, and it's inspired and based on, according to Push Square, a manga one-shot, which is like just kind of like an abbreviated graphic novel by the guy who created Dragon Ball. And I was
gonna say, I thought it was based on the art of the guy that did Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
And Akira Toriyama is the guy's name.
Yeah.
He did Dragon Ball. He did Dragon Quest.
Okay.
He likes dragons, apparently. But
he likes dragons. Got a thing for dragons.
Yeah. So yeah, that's cool though. I think some people were a little bit excited for this, so that's neat to see.
So I don't think we really saw much gameplay, but there is a trailer out now where it's a third person vehicular combat at times, like mechs and machines, and then there's some vehicle battles. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if this game needed to be localized. I'd only imagine it did, or like regionalized for the US, but dude, on that recent trailer that I just saw, like, some of the voice acting, I think we've been spoiled lately, because this just didn't quite hit me. It seemed a little meh. It was fine. It was serviceable, but it wasn't even so much the acting, maybe just like the recording quality of the vocals. Like, it just seemed like it was sitting on top a little much. Like, the mix maybe ruined it for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. So give it a listen. Check it out. You tell us what you think. You can write into the show. But this game is kind of cool, man. And I forgot all about it. So hopefully it's rad, dude. And I like the idea. I don't even know anything about Dragon Ball, but I love the idea. It almost has like a Mad Max feel in like Dragon Ball world.
Right.
Which is super cool. And that's an underrated game. If you've never played the Mad Max game, that game was fantastic. Moving on. This is the show topic real quick. I didn't even tell Jake this was going to be the topic, but the conversation will come naturally, no doubt, as it always does. But there was an article on Push Square about a head honcho over at Nacon, which is the studio who made the RoboCop game recently. And they made a statement about there being just too many games. So Benoit Clerc was noted as saying, quote, "There are too many games currently on the market." And then there's an ellipses, and then he goes on to say, we're seeing today the results of investment made after the pandemic, when the market was nursing, and every game was making a lot of money, so there were a lot of investments being made. This is 2 or 3 years after that, so the games we're seeing now on the market were financed in that time, and there are simply too many for customers to be able to play them. And he does go on to indicate that sometimes, even when now I'm not a PC gamer, and dude, I am really considering getting a Steam Deck, but, that's in the conversation for later. But he goes on to indicate that, like, sometimes when you log into Steam, you get hit in the face with like 60 new games every day. And, that's higher level, like, numbers, but like that can happen. So he kind of goes on to say it's really kind of tough to get any kind of traction for like indie developers or indie game makers or any kind of exposure. And my question in the topic I want to kind of have a quick chat about it is too much of a good thing, or is too much of a good thing a bad thing in this situation? You know, I can draw complete parallels with this, Jake, in the music industry with being an independent artist, man. Like, it's just oversaturation. Like, there's probably so much good shit out there that doesn't rise to the top just because people don't even fucking try. Like, you know, you could put out the best fucking game in the world, but not have all the pieces in place, not get it to content creators, not get it to IGN, not get it to, you know, Destructoid, whomever the fuck are talking about games, PC Gamer, whatever. You could make like a really rad game, put it out there, and like it come across like a banner for like maybe 100 people that get on Steam that day, and like maybe 2% buy it, like 2 people buy your game, and they're like, wow, that was really fucking cool, and there's 2 comments, 2 ratings, and then it's just dead. No, you know, and no amount of you asking people to listen to your game or play your game or whatever is going to make them do it, because the industry's so overwhelmed. So whose responsibility? I mean, this is tough. Like, how do we get around this? Because we love games so much, and I think about it, I frame it in my mind in the frame of music. I love music so much. Like these things that we enjoy, and I get that it's a hobby, and I get it, but it means something to somebody. It was somebody's job. Somebody put a passion into something, right? Like, what do you, how as a consumer of this kind of media, how are we to sort through the bullshit and find new stuff on our own? Because you know there's shit that doesn't come across on these review websites.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it boils down to the simple fact that the more accessible you make the creation of new games, the more shit is going to get lost. Basically, it's like the easier it is to get a game to market, the more time and place is going to make a difference into whether or not your shit is successful. Because think about music, right? It used to be that you couldn't record your own music.
Right, yeah.
You had to go to a studio. You had to go through record labels. You had to, you know, back in the day, it used to be a little bit easier to get your song on the radio before they were all kind of homogenized. But
there was still a barrier of entry.
There was a barrier of entry to even getting your shit recorded.
Right.
Short of like literally using a fucking cassette player in like, you know, in your bedroom or something.
Right.
So you couldn't get a professional recording, a quality recording, without going to a studio and paying people to mix it and doing all that stuff. And so if you got to that point, you were much more likely to be successful if your shit was good, because the market wasn't flooded, because it was hard to get to that point.
Right.
But now everybody with $10 can buy an interface, record shit into their free DAW on their system,
and upload it to
computer,
iTunes for $40.
mix it, upload it to SoundCloud or iTunes or whatever. And now the thing is, how the fuck do you get your shit noticed? And it's like, okay, well, what do? I got to pay some distribution company thousands of dollars to push my shit to the top,
or pay for reviews,
or
because a lot of these, dude, it's probably the same in the
or pay for reviews.
It's got to be the same in the video game world. Like, you have to have a publicist, you have to have a fucking marketing team, you have to have all this shit to get your shit noticed. And it's the same way with music. And I don't mean to just draw conclusions to music for those who aren't involved in the music scene or are artists in that regard, but like, you're 100% right. This is a blessing and a curse all wrapped up in one. And I don't know, I have yet to figure it out with music. Now, I'm not saying my shit should be rising to the top, but dude, it should definitely get more. We should be getting noticed more than we do. Truthfully, like the music that we make. But there's just so much shit out there. Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, with the video games. Now, literally anybody can download Unity and make a game and publish it.
Right.
Anybody can download Unreal Engine and make a game and publish it
Right.
for free.
Right.
And
it doesn't have to be good, right? Because back in the day, like I think what you're going with is like if you're a game developer and you have a fucking idea, or you're a musician, you have an idea, and you write a couple fucking songs, you're not gonna go spend $3,000 at a studio to record that shit, and then another like $2,000 to get it, put the CD, and then however much money it takes to get it, out, unless you believe in your product enough that you think you can make that investment back. The problem is that there's not really an investment anymore financially with any of this stuff. And if there is, it's significantly lower. So you get a flooded marketplace and you get all this static. And it's like, just because somebody put something out, you haven't heard of it, like a game, doesn't mean that the game sucks. It just means that it's sitting there with probably 80% of other games you've never heard of that most likely suck. So like, and if you're brand new to this shit, you probably don't have a marketing team because you can't afford one. So it's a blessing so that you don't need the money to get it out there, but it's also a curse because you're just in the same fucking pool as everybody else, talented or untalented. And then it's just up to the consumers to stumble on your shit and like talk about it and enjoy it. And it's a big fucking gamble. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it's really tough to wade through the noise anymore. And like you can get, I think I heard or read somewhere that if you publish a game, you can get it on, like, have it be one of those games that pops up whenever you go to like the PlayStation Store icon on your PS5. And like you jump in there, you can put it. You can get it. You could pay to have it advertised on one of those like front-facing pages, but it's like $20,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
For like, I'm assuming probably like one day or something,
or
like
maybe
that.
even a week. But like, dude, how many times have you even clicked on any of those as a consumer?
Almost never.
Exactly.
I mean, the thing is that like it's got to have
exactly.
But for me, I mean, to be honest
Same.
with you, like for me to give a shit about anything, it already has to have some kind of hype behind it.
Right.
So. Like very rarely do I pick up a game that I've never heard of before and
give it a shot.
I mean, the most recent example, like I've been talking about, is Prodeus, and that's because it was $3 and it looked fucking
and you liked
sick.
it,
and I loved it.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that these games don't exist; they definitely do.
It's a
and
shame.
That's the thing that sucks about it, is that I honestly feel like a lot of this boils down to Sony. Well, if we're talking specifically about PlayStation, like Sony just policing the shit that gets on their platform a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Like if they were to just make it so that the games that are on the store are of a significant or of a
certain quality,
sufficiently high quality, and you weren't like wading through, like if I go to the indie section, I shouldn't be concerned that, 50% of the games that I'm going to look at are trash.
Right, exactly.
So, and I'm not saying that that's the actual number or whatever. I'm just literally kind of.
So you're saying it's Sony's responsibility to curate that for us.
Yeah, I feel like it should be. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't they? Like, why wouldn't they want to? But I get it. Like, they get money for dev kits and stuff to get this stuff on the store, and people have to pay to get it through certification and all this kind of junk. So it really doesn't make any difference to them other than them putting this game on a server somewhere or something.
And they're still getting money because if you're listening to your shit on the PSN, Sony gets money for all of that. So like they're taking money. And so they're just padding their wallets by doing this, by letting all the shit on. And I think they have gotten a little better, but like, dude, it just goes back to it, dude. There's no doubt in my mind, like there would be a lot of people not developing games if it were harder to get them on these platforms. And that doesn't mean that it should be harder. I'm just saying.
I mean,
like,
think about that. That's why games only came out. Like, you only had decent releases like once a month.
Yeah.
Now it's like every time we do one of these podcasts, there's like 15 fucking games that you read, and I literally don't care about any of them.
It's interesting. Well, sometimes you care about some of them, but yeah, most
sure.
of them
obviously,
we don't. Yeah, right.
But it's like it's to the point now where I just kind of zone out. Like I'm not looking up any of these games.
Dude,
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, this is such a parallel with what I face being an independent artist, man. This is 100%. I can't imagine being an indie developer in this fucking climate, dude, because trust me, I understand what it's like to be a small fish in a very large pond, if not an ocean, and just trying. Dude, it's hard enough. Dude, it's hard enough to make the thing. Right? It's just hard enough to make the thing. And if you care about what you're doing, to make it quality, and you're so hard on yourself. Some of these developers are probably so good at what they do, and they're probably so fucking hard on themselves, and they sacrifice so much shit for their art, and then like it gets put up next to fucking the game called Basketball, which is like black and white, and it's just like go praise Jesus when you turn it on. And it's just like right next to that shit. And it's just like, because those games existed for a while. Sony took them down. They were like advertisements for religion. And like they had like, it was really weird. Not that I'm saying that like you can't implement religion into video games, but like they were clearly not video games. But they cost like $1.99. You buy it, and then it's just it was just like garbage. And it wasn't a game. It's like, that has no reason to be on this fucking platform. So like,
I feel like I wish they did like a they need to have like a tryout system where it's like there's this other storefront that's like these are all the fucking new indie games and everything like that. Like the only way you go direct to the big time is if you are a proven developer of video games.
Right.
If you're not, your shit gets put on
the tryout store.
We'll call it the minor leagues, right? You get your shit is in the minor leagues, and because there's always going to be people that are like, I'm interested in what
indie games
is out
right,
there.
Yeah.
But like, and then like let's say once you reach a certain threshold, then your shit gets bumped to the big time. I honestly think
that's a good solution.
And to be honest with you, Sony should promote those games on that storefront as well. Not just not literally just be like, oh, these are just shoveled to the second rate store or whatever. But they should make they should give you some incentive. Like imagine if there was a PlayStation Stars type program, but it was like you got points for trying new indie releases.
Right. To encourage gamers to try new shit and buy indie games that are on this minor league store. And then they should have like the top 20 on the minor league store. Here are the top 20 rated games on the minor. And we'll recycle these because there's so many. We'll recycle this fucking list every 2 weeks. So like, and then the top 20 get thrown onto the PSN. That'd be fucking dope. And the other ones still stay in the minor league section. Right? They still stay on that store. It's fucking genius.
Yeah, I know. And I honestly think
that's the way to do it.
They don't want to do this because they don't want like the the bad PR. You're like fucking picking and choosing.
They are.
Visibility and stuff. But it's like the PSN is a private storefront. They don't owe these people anything. They should make it better.
Dude,
like,
here's the thing. Here's the fucking thing. It would be a kindness to the consumers, right? You're not wasting our fucking time anymore. It would be a kindness to the developers because the writing's on the fucking wall. If your shit's not good, then get better, right? Like, you got to be able to take, like, some fucking criticism. That's just it. So, like, if you never make it to the big leagues on your first game, it doesn't mean that you still can't sell it, but it's not going to make the PSN store, to make the PSN minor store, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But, like, it's a kindness to everybody. And what that word is honesty. No one wants to fucking buy a shitty game. I'm sorry. No one wants to buy a shitty game. So why are they all over the place for sale on the PSN? I don't know. I'm done.
Everybody has to learn, right?
Yes.
Like game developers have to learn. They have to get better. But
I get it's subjective. What's good and what's bad, dude. But
dude, there should be imagine. I'm sure these things exist. But like, if we were bigger and this was like what we did
Full time, this podcast?
Yeah. Like, I think it would be awesome to have a show that literally all it is
Indie game.
is you find an indie game you've never heard of before, and you that is good, and you raise it up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I think there's a little bit of onus on the, let's say, even the non-traditional media, but like the people, like the word of mouth kind of thing, right? Right now it's so commercialized that it's like Call of Duty, fucking Madden, fucking Destiny, fucking, Uncharted,
Apex
blah, blah,
Legends,
blah, blah, blah.
right, yeah.
It's like, yeah, whatever. And it's like, they've built this narrative, whether it was intentional or not, that a game has to be like this big $200 million project to be worth your time. And it's like,
setting some sort of precedent.
Yeah, like why not build a new narrative that says that, like, yeah, that is a type of experience, but another type of experience is this thing over here, and it's just as valid. So I know we kind of got off the topic of like too many games a little bit, but I think that like it kind of all bleeds into the fact that there needs to be more curation in the industry as a whole. And I think that music has done a better job at this, because now we're starting to get these things like let's just say Apple Music and fucking Spotify and Amazon Music, where like they'll do these
playlists,
shuffled playlist things where like you'll get like, dude, sometimes I'll get fed bands that I've never fucking heard of. And I'll be like, whoa, like that track, that was awesome. And I'll look them up, and hey, I might not be into everything that they do, but like I never would have fucking even looked at them.
Right.
If it wasn't for the fact that like this thing just is like other things that I like, and so it got shuffled to me. And I know like Sony tries to do that because they're like, because you play blah, and it's like, but it's always this it's always this garbage shit that like they're just trying to promote and all this stuff. And it's like, no, I want like I can imagine they could even do something really fucking crazy where it's like, imagine if they had a platform, and I think that this would be a really cool idea, where it was like, you buy a game on there, and let's say it's $70, but for $80, you get the game that you want to buy and a mystery indie title. Now, you could choose what you want the genre of that indie title to be. But it's like, think about, like, wouldn't that be cool? Like, dude, I'd do that I'd pay the extra $10 every fucking time. Because I think it'd be cool to be like, well, maybe I'll see something I've never fucking seen before. And you can obviously, maybe they could tailor it to be like, oh, well, you wouldn't get something that you obviously already purchased or
right.
whatever.
That would be a way to curate it though too. And not to interrupt, but inject this and keep going. This would be a way where someone submitting their title who believes in their fucking title could pay a little extra, not $20,000, but a little extra to get on this curated list, this extra bonus game. If someone chooses, you know what I mean, to pay the extra $10. I'll take a hit as a developer, maybe I get $4 of that or $5 of that purchase.
Yeah.
But at least someone's going to get their hands on my game that otherwise would not have. I'll pay a little extra with the hope that I'll get some of that back. That's a genius idea.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm sure all of these solutions have huge flaws that we don't know, but I will say that something's got to be done.
Something has to be done. Yes, 100%.
Because like it's gotten to the point where I'm not even looking at any of this.
You and me both, dude.
I honestly,
so
honestly, some weeks when you read when you read the new games, I just get annoyed. I don't even why why are we even reading this?
Well, because they could be good, right? They could be.
They could be. But there's 15 fucking games every week. How are they all good?
Well, again, the onus is on us to somehow tell people that these games came out. Because otherwise, no one would fucking know.
I get that. But it's like, we should expect them to be good because they're on the PSN.
Right, and we don't know right now because there's no way to sift it through the strainer. There's no way to sift it.
Yeah, I should be able to be like, okay, this game is on the PSN. It might not be for me, but I know it passes some quality bar.
It's not going to be a pile of shit. Right.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't...
Anyway.
Fuck, man. I don't... There are AAA games that suck. And I'll just say this. One more little tidbit. Paying a ton of money to have a game made, like a AAA studio, and it's got Unreal, the new latest Unreal Engine, it's got ray tracing, all that shit. You can put the prettiest veneer on a game, but if it's not fun, it's still a pile of shit. And I'll say the art can be great, and the style can be great, the UI can be great, but if the game is not fun, then you've missed the mark. And the only thing that makes me think about that right now, and I think this is definitely a subjective opinion, bordering on fact, though, is I took time to watch Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. And it is exactly what I'm talking about. This movie bites so hard off of other properties. It's pretty. It's beautiful. All of the cinematography, the colors, the environments, the amount of money that went into it. All great. The acting's even good. But the fucking story is so poorly written that it's like, oh, this is Star Wars. Oh, this is Warhammer. Oh, this is Inglourious Bastards. Oh, it's all of these tropes that anyone without a brain can just say, oh, let's make a movie where a guy dressed in it looks like Nazi uniforms shows up on this planet that's being terraformed, and he acts like he's their friend, but then by the end of their conversation, he's killing one of them, and he's putting the fear in everybody. Oh, and let's have a robot that shows up that's supposed to be trained by the bad guys, but somehow its AI breaks and now it becomes good. It's that's fucking WALL-E or some shit. That's I've seen all of this shit before everywhere, and the entire movie is this. There's even a bar scene. It's the cantina scene from Star Wars. 100% almost just like it. And then there's this freight trader that shows up, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll join your group. And then he turns out to be a traitor. And it's just oh my God, this is so fucking cringe-worthy storytelling. I watched it because I was it looked fucking like it was going to be good. And I was just waiting, but it fucking sucked. Rebel Moon sucked so bad. And it's just I don't know, dude. Zack Snyder did it. He wrote it. He directed it. Clearly, he probably shot it too. But he's really good cinematography. All of his movies look awesome. But This is the worst, the absolute worst movie. I can't even imagine what the budget would have been. I don't know who the fuck pulled the wool over the Netflix's eyes, dude. It's a travesty how bad it is. The story. It's just let's assemble the gang. They have to get the gang together, and it feels like Guardians of the Galaxy for a little bit. And they get all the gang together, but it shows you the scene. One guy has to ride a dragon to get out of being a slave or something, and all of a sudden it's Game of Thrones for 20 minutes, and then it's just the guy looks like the guy from Game of Thrones, if you know what I'm talking about, the fucking chin thing. And then he doesn't have a speaking line the rest of the movie, but he joins the gang. And all these people, they get all these people, and someone even has lightsabers, dual lightsabers, that they kill this thing that looks like a wyvern or something. It's Dungeons and Dragons meets, there's not one fucking original idea in Rebel Moon, just so you know. End of rant.
Yeah, I saw that movie, and I was looking at, when I was looking, I was oh, this actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to be, whatever the next big space opera is or whatever.
Yeah.
Like an evolution of Star Wars or a spiritual successor or whatever. And I'm like, I have no problem with that being a thing, but then I saw like, oh, it's actually not good.
It's so
and I was just kind of
bad.
bummed out because it looks awesome.
That's what I'm saying.
But
so it doesn't matter how much money you throw at your art, right? It doesn't matter. It can be as polished as a fucking turd turned to a diamond. It's still a fucking turd. Like, I don't care. Like, it's still a turd.
Yeah.
And it's just like, make it look as pretty as you want. Make it sound as awesome as possible as far as the quality. Make it, but if the content isn't there and it's not good, it's never going to be good. So there are AAA developers that are just fucking shitting the bed too right now. You know what I mean? Just putting out garbage.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. There's a lot of good shit too. I don't mean to be so negative. There's a lot of good fucking games out there, but we need to sift through the bullshit. All right. Next news point. Sorry for that big freaking discussion. I hope the listeners enjoyed that. You were talking about VR2 games, Jake, and looking for something. Doesn't look like we're ever getting Half-Life Alyx. But there is a new VR2 game called Vertigo 2. And according to Push Square, it shares a lot of quote-unquote DNA with Half-Life. And they gave it a 9 out of 10 for PSVR 2. And it just dropped. So this might be one you need to look at. I got to look at it. I did
see there was a game called Vertigo, but I didn't...
This is Vertigo 2. Yeah.
Fuck with it at all. I'm just kind of scrubbing through some gameplay. It looks kind of interesting.
So maybe there's some shit there for us. But anyways, listeners, there you go. It looks good. I don't know anything about it. Next news point. Cruising through the show. When are we going to get the next state of play from Sony? When's it happen? What do we see, Jake? There's rumors it's going to happen the next couple weeks. It could happen this week. It could happen next week. Are they going to show off Pacific Drive? Are they going to show off... What's the other big game coming out in February? I'm thinking of...
Well, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah, right.
There's Persona.
Yep.
Trying to think of what else there is.
We might get a Stellar Blade.
There's so much shit.
Might get a Stellar Blade release date.
Banishers.
Yeah, Banishers.
Stellar Blade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think. Are you asking me?
No, I mean, you don't know. You don't know. But like, if you had to take a guess, when would be the next state of play? We're recording this on. I think today's the 13th. Today's the 14th. My watch is off by a day. It's the 14th.
So,
January.
I would hope it happens soon, but I guess we don't know, right? I mean, we've been thinking like, oh, they got to do another showcase for like fucking 6 months. They did one in June or whenever that was, and we're like, oh, they're gonna do another one in the fall. They never did it, so who knows, man? I'm guessing they're just gonna drop these games just randomly one day. I don't know. We haven't heard hardly anything at all over the last year and a half from them, so I'd be pleasantly surprised if they did one soon in the next couple weeks. That'd be great, but I would imagine that we're going to see something at least before summer. We have to almost.
I think,
especially like because some of those games that are on like the 2024 launch window video from Sony, we don't know anything about. So it's like, you're talking about Concord and fucking Stellar Blade. And I mean, we know stuff about Stellar Blade. We don't have a release date yet for it. So it's like...
Rise of the Ronin is probably going to get a trailer too here. So some more shit on that.
Well, that's the thing is that what are they going to show us if we have a state of play in the next week or so? It's probably going to be a fucking blowout on like Rise of the Ronin or something. It's not going to be like...
They won't do that because it goes to Tsushima. They won't give Rise of the Ronin that much attention. It'll be...
I don't know, dude. If they're paying for exclusivity, they're gonna want to market it.
Yeah, you're right.
So will it have as much of a blowout? I doubt it. They typically reserve that for their first party games, but they did it for Final Fantasy 16. So it's like, maybe they'll do where we'll have 10 minutes of just random shit, and then like 10 minutes of blowout for whatever game, Stellar Blade or something we know more about, like Rise of the Ronin. I don't know,
Right.
but we'll just have to see, because I'm hoping that we see more, but Sony has kind of trained me at this point to just assume that they're not going to show us anything or anything that I care about until it fucking shows up on my doorstep. So I don't know, but that would be exciting if we did see something, even if it was a blowout on Rise of the Ronin or Stellar Blade or something. I think it would be good to hear something from them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Time will tell. You know what I mean? But I think it's coming soon. If you want my personal opinion, I think we're gonna get some shit very soon from them. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened this week, and you can take that to the bank. If not this weekend, so that's my prediction. Let's move on to the next and final news point for today's show. And this caused a lot of controversy, and rightfully so, really. At first I saw the news point and I was like, fucking just shut up, gamers. You know what I mean? It's like, I was like, it's fucking privileged, a game, you know, it's not, you're not owed this. And then like, I read the article and I was like, holy shit. So there's a thing about Final Fantasy packs coming to Apex Legends. So like, they were implementing different materia things and whatnot for characters, for Cloud specifically, I believe. And there were like 36 of these packs that you could buy individually. Each one, Jake, cost about $10. So $360. And you only get the one-winged angel death box, which is the Final Fantasy uber awesome thing for Apex Legends, when you have all of the other 36 boxes. So $360 to get this. And gamers like, what?
So fucking crazy.
Yeah, and then gamers were like outcrying about, like, this is fucking ridiculous. So they did lower the cost after this outburst, but not very much. The first 15 boxes are $1, and the other 15 plus boxes are still a $10 price point. So you're looking at like $200 still to get the one-winged angel death box. And it's like, goddamn, like, what the fuck? Like, you couldn't have just found a happy medium and just been like $20 for the one-winged death angel? I wonder, like, if they had to buy like get the license to, surely they did for like Final Fantasy, and they're probably just getting charged an arm and a fucking leg, and they like realize they probably shouldn't have done this because now they owe a ton of money. They're trying to make their money back. But like, this isn't how you do it. You do it over time. You don't do it like, you know, let's get 200 people to buy this thing for $300 a piece or whatever. Let's just make it affordable and just let it run its course. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, for me, it's just like, in my opinion, I don't fucking care. If they want to charge $360 for this shit, that's fine. I mean, people aren't going to buy it, and it's not going to sell, and they'll learn their lesson that way. But it's like,
yeah,
this is just one of those kind of, like, who's going to buy all of this? I mean, yeah, there are whales that might do this type of thing, but like, $360 for some digital fucking whatever. It's like, I don't know, man. Honestly, like, you know what'd be awesome?
Yeah.
Is if they had the balls to literally just be like, all the packs with the special set, $300. Put it on the store. Like, rather than being like, oh, you got to buy all the individual packs, and then you fucking, if you do all that, then you unlock this other thing. Just be like, no, if you want this, the awesome fucking shit with the big, you know, wing or whatever the fuck happens whenever you get all of them, it's like, give us $300 and you can have it, and you can, you know, flex on all your friends that you wasted.
Fucking $300.
So like, or even just say like, oh, you could buy. Even if they're like, oh, it's $200. Like, I just literally want them to say, like, if they're going to force you to have all of these things to unlock this pack, they would do themselves a favor to just be like, $250 and you get everything. in the special pack.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wish I think the problem the gamers have with it is not that it costs all this money. It's that they're like, oh, one pack is only $10. But then they're like, you can get this special thing if you have all the packs. But then they don't turn around and say like, oh, it's fucking $300 and some dollars.
Right.
So it's like they'd be like, I think gamers would be less pissed off if they were just like $200 and you get everything. Or you can pick and choose which ones you want for $10 a piece. Like I feel like gamers wouldn't really have a problem with that. Now some would because they're all whiny bitches.
Right.
But I don't know, man. I think it's honestly, it seems predatory for them to do it in this fashion.
Yeah.
But if they were to just come out and be like, here's a bulk price for everything and it's cheaper, I don't think people would give that much of a shit about it. They wouldn't buy it probably, but they wouldn't get.
You're cutting out a little bit. Are you still there, Jake?
I'm here.
All right. Sorry. I cut that last little line that you had.
That's all right.
All right. Fair enough.
I just, honestly, if people are going to spend the money, they're going to spend the money, but it is what it is. I just think that they should have been more transparent about it and maybe given them a bulk rate at the beginning, and it would have been it. Yeah,
apparently they didn't foresee an issue. That's part of the problem. They didn't foresee this even being remotely an issue, charging that much.
I don't think it would have been an issue if they didn't have this.
Oh, dude, you are cutting out. I cannot hear you. I don't know what's going on. Hello. We've lost Jacob. I don't know if it's my connection or what's going on here. I don't have Jake. And he is... There he is. Are you there?
Yeah.
Dude, you cut out for a long time. How about let's just get to the new games? We're having audio and video trouble. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah, sorry.
We had a storm on Friday, and we had a bunch of trees fall on power lines and shit out here.
Yeah.
And I think the cable line is fucked up because we've had our internet's been spotty for the past couple of days.
you told me like that earlier in the show about downloading that game. It took you like fucking 12 hours or some shit. It's not a big deal, dude. All right, well, very good. Very good. Let's keep this thing rolling. Every show we talk about the new games, and you heard us talk about earlier how this seems like almost a waste of time, but I still think it's important to talk about. So we don't even really talk about it. We just talk about some of the games releasing. So January 16th, Toy Trains on PSVR 2. I talked about that game last episode or an episode or two. That actually looks kind of nice. January 18th, Bahnsen Knights, Knights. We're also getting Bulletstorm VR for PSVR 2. We're getting Prince of Persia. Oh, that game's not out yet? I thought it was out. My mistake, guys. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown comes out on January 18th. But that just means that the demo is out now, and you can give it a try before the game comes out, which is how it should be. January 18th, The Cub is coming out. And we got a few more. January 19th, just one more. The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is dropping on the 19th. Still don't know about this buy. I like the buy-up path, the whatever they call it. But I don't know that I'm going to get it right off the jump here. But we'll see. We'll see. Jake, anything on that? You good?
Obviously, I'm interested in Prince of Persia now because of you said the reviews were pretty good on it.
Yeah,
but I'm also interested in Bulletstorm VR because that game is fucking awesome, and I imagine it's probably pretty fun in VR. So I'm kind of curious about that for sure.
Yeah. Well, we'll maybe have some new games to talk about next week. We'll see. Hopefully, I'll wrap up Resident Evil 4 in VR and be inching closer to the end of Final Fantasy XVI. And then after that, I am going to play The Devil Inside, or The Devil in Me, rather. I think it's The Devil in Me, the Dark Pictures anthology that I picked up on sale. I think it's The Devil in Me. The Devil Inside looked awesome, but I don't think that game, no one knows what happened to that game. It looked cool. All right, Jake, that's all I have for today's episode. And again, I want to thank the listeners for taking this journey with us. Really appreciate you guys listening each and every week. And we do release these podcasts early to patrons of our show. You can go do that at patreon.com/PS. This is awesome. For $1 a month, you'll get early access to the show. Usually on Monday. They air for everybody else Wednesdays on YouTube and your preferred streaming platforms. So, that being said, Jake, do you have anything you'd like to say before we wrap things up?
No, it's fucking freezing in this. I bet this room that I'm sitting in is probably 50 degrees.
That's insane.
Because the wind is crazy right now, and it's cold out, and it's just blowing right through my house. And the room that I'm in is like on the windy side of the house. So, my fucking toes are freezing, so I'm glad that we're done.
Hey, let me put one more quick thing out here for the listeners. If you, I want to do this, and we just don't do it every episode. And if you are a musician and you have music that you play and you record and you take yourself somewhat seriously, and you would like us to put one of your songs on the end of our show, we're not going to give you money for it or anything, and you won't get any kind of royalties or anything, but if you want a little extra promotion, I would be happy to put a song of yours on the end of the show. We used to do this all the time, and then just became kind of like a burden where we're putting a ton of shit on every episode. You know what I mean? Where it's just like I was just trying to like get people to give us songs, but the offer is still there for anyone interested, and I don't like to flood the podcast with just our music. So if you do play music and you want to put something on, and again, it can't be absolute trash. So, talking about curation, we're not going to just force feed grindcore that recorded on a boombox to our listeners for 2 minutes or 25 seconds, however long your song would be. As long as it's recorded well and you take yourself somewhat seriously and you make music, I'd be happy to put it on the show at the end for the listeners to listen to something as we tune out. So, that being said, that's it. That's all we got. So like Tekken 7, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and The Last of Us. P.S.
Yes.
This is awesome.
This is awesome.